Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Catherine Endy, the family life coach, and I help parents of little kids feel calmer, more confident, and more connected to their kids so that you can actually enjoy parenting. Today, I want to talk to you about two essential conscious parenting skills: observe and describe. So, when we get triggered or experience stress, we tend to slip easily into fight or flight mode. And when we're feeling stressed or triggered by parenting moments, it takes us out of the present moment, right? When something is going awry with your kids and you get triggered, it takes us out of the present moment. We might choose to, we might feel like we want to escape that moment by picking up our phone and scrolling. We might feel like we can't keep our cool because we feel like we're going to yell. But we want to be present with our kids, right? So many parents tell me that that's how they want to operate. They want to stay in the present moment with their kids, which means, no matter what's going on, we need to have tools to keep us grounded and to keep us in the present moment. This is going to help support our kids' emotional development, knowing that we've got their back when they're struggling, that we're still there with them. Even when they're having a hard time, we're still there with them in the moment. So I wanted to introduce these two really essential conscious parenting skills that will help you to stay in the moment, which are observe and describe. So first, what you're going to do is observe and describe your own experience. And then you're going to observe and describe what's going on around you or what you're noticing in your child. So here's what this might look like. Something happens, you get triggered, you start to notice that you're getting dysregulated. So you might say, "Oh, I notice that I feel like I want to yell right now." You're going to say this inside your own head, by the way. We'll get to what you say out loud in a minute, but inside your own head, you might even put your hand over your heart like, "Oh, I notice that my heart is starting to race. I notice these sensations in my body." Maybe you notice that your palms are sweating or that your voice is starting to raise in pitch. Maybe you hear yourself starting to get amped up when you're speaking. Maybe you become short with your kids, so you start snapping at people. Maybe you are someone who picks up your phone and starts scrolling when you get stressed. There's actually a phenomenon in which you want to kind of get out of the moment, and so that's what we sometimes, some of us pick up our phones and want to kind of escape, right? So as you get better and better at this, you will notice what your behaviors are and what your body is doing when you get triggered. So just what I want you to do first is just observe what's going on inside of you. Maybe your thoughts are racing, maybe your voice is getting amped up, maybe your heart's starting to race, and then describe it to yourself in your own mind. Just notice, observe, and describe in your own head what's going on, what you're noticing. And when you do this, what happens is that you access your prefrontal cortex, which is this part of your brain behind your forehead. And that's the part of your brain that keeps you from slipping into the lower centers of your brain. It's the part of your brain that keeps you emotionally regulated. It's the part of your brain that gives you access to all the smart parts, all the smart things, all the good responses that you want to have. Like in your chill parenting fantasy, when you're being that super calm parent, you're accessing the stuff that's in your prefrontal cortex. But when you get triggered, you tend to slip down into the lower centers of your brain. But when you use this skill of observing and describing, you're actually engaging the prefrontal cortex. And this is going to allow you to access all that good stuff, all that good human stuff. So just take a breath and notice what you notice. And once you're calm enough to speak without yelling, you can begin to observe and describe what you notice going on around you. So that's what you notice your kids doing. So that might be something like, "I noticed that I just said that it was time to come to dinner and no one is at the dinner table. I noticed that it's time to go, but no one has their shoes on. I noticed that I'm getting pretty frustrated, and so I'm taking some deep breaths so that I can stay calm." And that's a great way to say out loud what your inner experience is. But even if you're just, "I notice that you just hit your brother and now your brother is crying. I notice that it's bedtime and everyone's getting really silly. So this is going to keep you connected to the present moment when you can just spend some time observing and describing out loud what's happening around you. It keeps your prefrontal cortex engaged so that you don't slip offline and start yelling or going into fight or flight. And it communicates to your kids, I'm with you. We're all in this together. So even though you're not coming to the dinner table, or even though it's time to go and you don't have your shoes on, I'm with you. I'm still here with you in this moment. And if your child is emotionally dysregulated, you might observe and describe, I see that your face is really sad, or I notice there are tears on your face. I notice that your voice is getting really loud and you're starting to yell. And again, that lets them know that you see them and you are right there in the moment with them. And you can do this without any judgment. And this is part of the beautiful thing about this skill of observing and describing, is that it's neutral. Just like, this is what I notice going on. Here's what we're doing. I see what's happening here. It allows you to have acceptance of what's going on too, right? Because you're just describing what you see. So my challenge for you is to just practice this. And you could even practice this without engaging in observing and describing parenting stuff. You could just start by observing and describing, maybe you're at work and you stepped away from your desk and when you came back, you had 20 emails in your inbox. I noticed that I have 20 emails in my inbox. I noticed that when I have 20 emails in my inbox, my heart starts to race because I feel like I'm getting behind in my work. Or maybe I noticed that my partner is not home from work yet and it's going to be dinner time soon. Or I noticed that, whatever it is, I noticed that it's raining outside. So just practicing tuning into what you notice and then practicing that on yourself, what you notice your inner experience to be, and then practicing it with your kids. I notice what's going on around me. And that's it. No judgment. Don't try to fix it. You're not trying to do anything here. You're just practicing this skill of observing and describing. So I want to encourage you to give it a try and let me know how it goes. And if you liked this video or found it helpful and you're watching it on YouTube, you can like and subscribe to this YouTube channel and share it with a friend. See you soon.